Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hazrat Shaykh al-Hadith Moulana Zakir rahmatullah alayhi was giving a commentary of a hadith in which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, I have not been sent except to worship Allah Almighty and to do His tasbih and to perform salah. And then within the commentary of this hadith, Nabi Kareem sallallahu Hazrat Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi, he's been explaining and going through the piety of the mashayikh and the buzurgs and the sulaha and the zuhad. And within that context, he mentions Ibrahim ibn Adham rahmatullah alayhi se kisi ne arz kiya. Somebody said to Hazrat Ibrahim bin Adham rahmatullah alayhi, the very great buzurg, also found within the Chishti tariqa, कि अगर आप किसी वक्त तशरीफ़ रखा करें तो हम आपकी खिदमत में हाजिर हो जाया करें. That if you were to come at any particular time, then we would come to you in your khidmat. कि कुछ इरशादात सुने, so we should listen to some things that you mentioned. उन्होंने फरमाया, he said, मुझे चार काम इस वक्त दरपेश. He said that there's 4 things that I need to do immediately now. उनमें मशगूल हो, उनसे फरागत पर यह हो सकता है. Once I need to be busy in this, and once I'm free from these 4 things, then I can spend some time. It then says, number 1, जब अज़ल में अहद लिया गया था तो हक़ ताला शाह ने एक फ़रीक़ के मुतालिक फरमाया था कि ये जन्नती है. When in the Azal, when the ruhs and arwah were gathered, Allah Ta'ala took the ahad, alastu bi rabbikum. So at that time, when the ahad was taken, when the oath was taken from all the souls that Allah Almighty is the one and only that we worship, etc. So Allah Almighty said regarding a group कि ये जन्नती है, कि this group is from Jannat or people of Jannat. और दूसरों को फरमाया था कि ये दोज़खी है, and he said regarding the other that these people are from the Jahannam. मुझे हर वक्त ये फ़िक्र रहता है, इब्राहिम इब्न आदम रहमतुल्लाह अलैहि says that I'm worried at all times कि ना मालूम मैं किन में हूँ, that it's not known in within which I am. Yani I'm from the people of Jannat, I'm from the Dozakh. And because he's worried about these things, he's preoccupied in working out. He's got no time to spend with other people. Number 2, जब बच्चा माँ के पेट में शुरू होता है, when a child it begins to grow and nurture inside the stomach or the womb of a mother, तो उस वक्त एक फरिश्ता जो उस नुत्फ़ा पर मुक़र्रर होता है, then at that time an angel that has been deputed to this dirty drop of fluid, वो हक़ ताला शान से पूछता है, he says to Allah Almighty कि उसको सईद लिखूँ या बदबख्त, should I consider or should I write down that this person is fortunate, सईद या बदबख्त or unfortunate. हर वक्त ये फ़िक्र रहता है कि ना मालूम मुझे क्या लिखा गया. He says that all times I'm worrying कि I don't know what is my situation. जब फरिश्ता आदमी की रूह कब्ज़ करता है, when the angels take the रूह of the person, तो ये पूछता है, they say कि इस रूह को मुसलमानों की रूहों में रखूँ या काफिरों की. Should I place this person's रूह inside amongst the Muslims or within the kafirs? ना मालूम मेरे मुताबिक फरिश्ता का क्या जवाब मिलेगा. He says that I don't know what the angel received, what response they received. And then number 4, he says क़यामत में हुक्म होगा, on the day of judgment it shall be commanded, वम्ताज़ु यौम अय्युहल मुजरिमून, सूरह यासीन. आज मुजरिम लोग फरमा बदारों से अलहदा हो जाए. That today let those that are criminals, mujrim, those that are sinful, let them separate themselves from those people that are obedient. यानी कि those pious people and unpious people shall be differentiated. मुझे ये फ़िक्र रहता है, Ibrahim ibn Adham rahmatullah says that I have this worry कि ना मालूम मेरा शुमार किस फरीक में होगा. I don't know within which group I am going to be. यानी जब इन चारों फ़िक्रों से अमन नसीब हो जाए, in other words, as the Shaykh then says, that when he is free from these 4 worries, number 1, the ahad that was taken regarding some people Jannat, some people Jahannam, regarding the baby when it's in the womb, the angel is commanded to write Sa'id or Shaqi. And number 3, when the soul is taken by the farishta, then is it amongst the Muslim souls or will it be placed among the kafir souls? And when on the day of judgment the command is given to separate the Muslims and the obedient ones from those that are disobedient, then which side will I be? So he says that when I can be free from the worry of these 4 things, इस वक्त दोस्तों से बेफिक्री से बातें करने का वक्त मिल सकता है. At that time I'll be able to spend some time without any worry speaking to my friends. अब तो मैं हर वक्त at this moment in time, at all times, इन फिक्रों में रहता हूँ. I am engrossed in these worries. कहाँ इत्मीनान से बैठ सकता हूँ? Where can I sit comfortably? So the point of this hadith, that the original one that we mentioned, as the Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi in this kitab, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pages of commentary. And the hadith that he is commentating on is, okay, he said that Nabi Karim said, okay, Allah Ta'ala has not sent me with wahi that I may become a businessman or I may gather wealth. Balki ye wahi beji, but rather he sent me with this wahi, this inspiration, कि तुम अपने परवरदिगार की तस्बीह और तहमीद करते रहो, that you should always do tasbih and tahmid and hamd of your Lord. नमाज़ें पढ़ने वालों में रहो, you should be amongst those that perform namaz, अपने रब की इबादत करते रहो, and engross yourself in ibadat of your Lord. यहाँ तक कि इसी हालत में तुमको मौत आ जाए, until at that point death comes to you. Then after this, Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah moves on to the 15th hadith. On the point of this explaining all of this, as the Shaykh Rahmatullah mentions right at the beginning, he says the reason why we mention the pious people is so that he inspires us. He inspires us to also live lives just like them. And he inspires us to fulfill our lives in a way and live our lives in the way that they live their lives. And he says about some of the mashayikh that sometimes they would see that maybe they're not engrossed in the dua of the way that people should make dua and the way our deen accepts and expects us to make dua. Or they might see that certain person is deficient in his salah, he might be deficient in fasting, he might be deficient in some other amal. So what they would do is they would go and find somebody who's very engrossed in making dua, and they made dua beautifully, and they spend some time with him, so that the magic dust in that person making dua, it also rubs off onto that person, and they become inspired to do the same. Anyway, the next hadith. An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu says, is narrated from him, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ليس الغنى عن كثرة العرض ولكن الغنى عن غنى النفس. नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का इशारे पाक है कि आदमी का गनी होना माल की कसरत से नहीं होता. The person being rich, गनी, is not from having lots of wealth, बल्कि हकीकी गिना तो दिल का गनी होना है. But the real wealth is to be wealthy at heart. And without going into the whole commentary, because Mufti Zubair Sahab has told me that I should finish today at 25 past and nothing earlier, so I'm rushing a little bit. मतलब हदीस पाक का बिल्कुल ज़ाहिर है. The meaning of this hadith is बिल्कुल ज़ाहिर, is very clear, कि अगर आदमी का दिल गनी नहीं है, that if a person's heart is not गनी, rich, तो जितना माल भी उसके पास ज़्यादा हो, that whatever wealth he has as much, वो माल खर्च के करने में फ़कीरों से ज़्यादा कम खर्च होगा. That वो माल के खर्च करने में फ़कीरों से ज़्यादा कम खर्च होगा. That the wealth that he has, abundance of, but he'll spend it very little on those that are poor and in place of sadaqah. जितना भी माल उसके पास हो, वो हर वक्त उसके बढ़ाने के फ़िक्र में मोहताजों से ज़्यादा परेशान होगा. Hazrat Shaykh says कि जितना भी माल, whatever wealth he has, वो हर वक्त at all times उसके बढ़ाने के फ़िक्र में, he'll be worried about increasing it. मोहताजों से ज़्यादा परेशान होगा, and in that worry he'll be even more worried than those people that are in need, that he wants to increase it. But he's on the rat race 24 hours trying to increase his wealth. How much does he increase? कटी ले आवे, कटी नहीं ले आवे. Yeah, how does he increase his wealth? अगर इसका दिल गनी है, but as the Shaykh then says that if his heart is gani, rich, तो थोड़ा सा माल भी उसको बेफिक्र रखेगा, and even a bit of wealth shall keep him without worry. और जितना होगा उसके हर वक्त बढ़ाने के फ़िक्र से आज़ाद होगा. And whatever he has, उसके हर वक्त बढ़ाने के फ़िक्र से आज़ाद. He'll be free from increasing. He's happy and khush. He's happy and mutmain with what he has. Imam Raghib rahmatullah alayhi कहते हैं, Imam Raghib rahmatullah alayhi says कि गिना के माने में बोला जाता है. That गिना has many meanings. एक तो गिना के माना किसी किस्म की हाजत न होने के है. One गिना is that person has no need for anything. इस माना के एतबार से तो सिर्फ हक़ ताला गनी है. And in that context, the person who has no need for anything, there is only one person, as Allah Almighty. कि उसको किसी चीज़ की एहतियाज नहीं, he has no need for anything. इसी माने के एतबार से ताला के इरशाद है, अंतुमुल फ़ुक़रा इलल्लाह वल्लाहुल गनीयुल हमीद, कि तुम सब कैसे अल्लाह ताला के मोहताज हो. All of you. And in this context is the verse of the Quran Kareem which I just recited, in which Allah Almighty says कि all of you are muhtaj of Allah Almighty, need of Allah Almighty. वो पाक ज़ात बेहतियाज है, and He Himself is without any need, हर किस्म की तारीफ़ वाला है, and He has every type of तारीफ़ and praise. दूसरे माना हाजात की कमी के है. The second meaning is, which is the context within us, I suppose, कि हाजात की कमी के है, that a person has less needs, less needs. इस माने के एतबार से ताशाह ने हुज़ूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के मुतालिक सूरह वद्दुहा में इरशाद फरमाया. Within this context Allah Almighty has described regarding the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, वजदक आइलन फअगना, which the meaning of is कि और हक ताला शाह ने आपको फ़कीर पाया. Allah Almighty discovered you or found you as in need, फिर आपको गनी बना दिया, and He made you free of want. और इसी माने के एतबार से हुज़ूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का पाक इरशाद हदीस बाला में है, and within this context is mentioned within the hadith कि असल गिना दिल का गनी होना है, that the real wealth and the real richness is to be rich at heart. तीसरे माना माल की कसरत और सामान की फरावानी के है. The third meaning is that plentiful wealth and to have lots of abundance of supplies and abundance of property and abundance of items. जिसको कुरान पाक में यहसबुहुमुल जाइलु अगनिया मिन अत्तअफ्फुफ, and he supports this with the verse of the Quran Kareem, in which Allah Almighty mentions के, and the meaning is कि सदक़ात असल हक ऐसे लोगों का है, that the sadaqat originally is for those people जो तालाशाह के रास्ते में घर गए हो और ना वाकिफ, those people who are traveling who are not at home, और ना वाकिफ आदमी उनके सवाल न करने की वजह से उनको मालदार समझता हूँ, because they don't ask the rich, the people who don't know think that they're extremely rich. So this is the meaning of this ghina. Anyway, he goes into this. We understand something that, when it comes to wealth, money comes, money goes. Our money spins around. It comes into my pocket today, I go to Ali, I spend it, then it goes in somebody else's pocket. Then it goes into another person's pocket. And then when I die, then it stays. And the whole thing is that the dunya is, it starts here, it starts there. I don't know how many million years the dunya is, but our time is just like it's like a Zoom call. It takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It's like 60 years, 80 years. And then we go. And our money has been spinning around all the way through. And then for that short duration, it's been in my pocket for a little while, but then it goes. As a Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayhi in a letter, when Haji Ahmad Nakhuda Rahmatullah Alayhi passed away, so his daughter had his letters. So we had a chance to look at his letters. He wrote to Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayhi after he went to Medina, कि मैं चाहता हूँ कि, because they were doing tijarat in Leslie. So he said, I wish I could go there and take the business and make lots of money so I can spend on the people of Medina Munawwara and the Sadat and the Sayyids, because he had a special connection with the Sadat. So the Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayhi corrected him at that point very beautifully, and he gave him a bit of nasihat, very beautiful nasihat, and within it is a lot of usul. He said कि kasrate, basically our Hazrat Thanvi Rahmatullah says that a bit of wealth is needed. पैसे तो चाहिए कि it frees you from want of needs. If you don't have any money, तो फयाना फरक मात्र પછી આપણો time waste થાય. Yeah, but થોડું કોઈ તો સારું ને કે ખાવા પીવાનું, ગરમ રાખવાનું, roof, everything is okay. But he says as a sheikh, then, but to make it so engrossed inside it that becomes totally absorbed in it, then there's a problem in that, because then you're losing the track. But as a Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayhi says कि कसरत माल इबादत से माने है. कसरत माल इबादत से माने है means that to hanker after too much wealth, it prevents and prohibits a person from turning to the actual objective, which is to worship Allah Almighty with itminan and respect and with a clear mind. You have a salary comes in, you spend it on your needs. But if you start hankering and being on a rat race to gather this and gather that, gather this and do this, and then you're spending 24/7, instead of spending 37.5 hours or 7.5 hours in a day, you're working 20 hours, 18 hours, your phone's buzzing all the time. Then what time will you get to do ibadat? There's a Shaykh Rahmatullah very nice, beautifully says, ke kasrat mal, yani it's good to have that intention to gain a lot of wealth in order to spend on other people. नीयत के एतबार से अच्छा है, he says. नीयत के एतबार से अच्छा है, लेकिन कसरत माल and all the things that come with it, it stops you and prevents you from your asal काम, which is ibadat. Then he says to him कि बस थोड़ा छोटा मोटा हो जाए, जितने से काम हो सकता है इतने का इरादा करो. Yani just a little bit, that's enough for you. Yeah, and that's ghina of the nafs. Allah Ta'ala gives us all tawfiq to understand wealth in its true and reality. We can easily slide into it, it's a slippery slope. Today I speak like this, but tomorrow maybe the pound sign and the dollar sign starts coming around in my head as well. We can enter that as well, and sometimes we do feel that we're going down that way. But the reality is that all of it's going to get left behind. There's only one thing that's going to stay with us, and that's our amal. Allah give us the tawfiq to purify ourselves, purify our hearts, spend our time in ibadat, spend our time in the correct things, and enable us to invest in the actual currency that's going to be of use in the hereafter. And that currency is pious actions and focusing on our children. Focusing our children, our families, creating the family units as best as possible, so people stay together and they become the greatest sadaqah jariyah for us in the hereafter. Inshallah, be zikr for 10 minutes, and then after that we'll call it a day, and we'll carry on next week inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah khair. Somebody can just close the light, that'll be very appreciated inshallah.